We would like life to be easy, but something is missing from achieving that mindset. Because over time, you're going to keep on finding new things if you seek self improvement. Life is complicated, it is not easy. But there's one big concept that shines the light on almost every topic: the alternating current, electricity. Basically, our most desired form of energy tells us a very interesting thing about life, doesn't it? And I've used this kind of current before to sort of describe the shift of how humanity works, but I don't know if I did a very good job. I just want to describe apocalypse as like a downwards spiral. But then you cross from something, and it's like that one spiral can only happen so much until you switch to something else. And now we're still complicating things. The funny thing is, this alternating current happens all the time. Whether day turns to night and night turns to day, sleep can turn into work. And unfortunately, there's actually a middle phase too. You know? You have to split things into three phases: one phase, middle phase, and the third one. And he constantly alternating between. And I'm talking about middle phase too. I'm talking about sunrises and sunsets. We care about that shit, guys. I swear. Now, life is not gonna be not complicated, as you can tell. You have to watch all the series of all the 30 videos, because I'm trying to dig out basically what the fuck we have to do to improve ourselves significantly. And it starts with awareness. It starts of going into the light. Now, the funny thing is, not everything is an alternating state. It would be pretty sad if you improve and then you lose all the progress. It happens eventually. You die. And technically, life itself is an alternating state where you feel very close to figuring out life even as you are 10 years old. Of like, as long as life does not change, everything is good. I'm learning a language, I can play games, and I can eat infinite amount of food. What's the worst that can happen? And then you go through school, and then you go through loneliness, and understanding that things die, and unfortunately, you get very far away from understanding life anymore. The funny thing is, I'm in this phase, I'm breaking through, alright? And I'm losing touch of life again. Because now I want self improvement. If I just stay here and I don't want self improvement, yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be fine living life the way that it is given to me. I have actually given this choice of like, if you want life, then you have life. You can just live life, and that's it. You get another chance basically to just stop in the middle and feel nothing at all. But it is best to attempt to go on the other side and challenge yourself to live as best life as you can get yourself to live, right? Because there's something on the other side as well. On the other side, after you've done self-development, now you can start taming the world itself. Now you can change the life as you know it. The moment you come back to this line of life, it is gonna be alternated or altered. There's a reason to actually strive for this direction in life. Once you're 30 years old, you are above average of what people can actually achieve in life. So now you can start doing things that most people can't do. Interestingly enough, that changes the way life works for you personally. You can actually gain success, gain money, things that people don't usually get in life, you can still achieve and change the resources that you're working with to better suit your life purpose, to better suit what you want out of life in the first place. Because what has been given to you was given to you by parents. You don't live your life, you live your parents' life. And unfortunately, you want to escape that paradigm. This is not the moment to stop, unfortunately. You can, it is absolutely available for you, but you need to be able to escape. And again, this is one of those insights where I just invented it in front of your eyes, okay? The only thing I had to do is pick up a very strong concept, which is the alternating current. I know life is also an alternating state, and something big happens when you break through, and I'm like, what is the big thing? I knew exactly what it is, because you are above average. You can now alter your life properly. And this is what it means to actually retire. To actually retire is to fight for your life to change. As we go into the future, like there's opportunities, there's ability to escape in the first place because technology is improving, but technology will not automatically will change your life. You need to adopt technology, and that's all you need to do really to actually get a full blown like inertia into the new world. You have to start adopting things. Unfortunately, it's gonna be slow because now we have to think beyond money. Money's not gonna save us. Money will be taken away from us. As meaningless as it is, you know, the greedy people will take so much money away, it will ruin the economy, but it will not ruin the progression system. All right? Smart people will still progress, as they should. Money still translates into goods and services, and they're just going to become cheaper, you know, until they become affordable. It's like, well, we need some money, some flow of profits. We can sell it for cheaper. It will happen. And all the shady practices, while they will earn a bunch of money, you know, success is not going to actually make their lives better anyways. Capitalism will simply die very soon. It's on the brink of fucking completely disappearing back into the history books, my friends. Capitalism. Something that people don't actually anticipate because we're all disconnected. We don't know what the fuck is going on. The real health bar of capitalism is hidden. We don't see it. But just like alternating states happens in one person's life, it happens across humanity. Fucking humanity, my friends. So you can alter a state in like 1 year, 5 years. There's different periods basically. And what I constantly describe as death of capitalism is the idea that not only we have 3 states, we have 4, which can be described this way in particular. 4 states. So now we're mapping a whole new system of improvement potentially. We have 4 and 3 mapping out this alternating state. So it's either these 3 lines showing us the extremes, because the middle is also an extreme state. It's a very extreme state to try and wake up. When you have to, you know you have to wake up, you know you have to do things, you know you have to accelerate into another work state. Not always it's gonna happen. Not always it's gonna work out. Not always you're gonna be able to have enough energy to do what you want. And this is what I'm talking. This is what inspired this episode, my friends. Sleep versus work state is exactly what inspired this video. And it inspired one more video, which I already attempted to do. That's on Max Stats episodes. There's 29 of them. It's crazy. It's just getting out of control. This is the craziest series I've ever done. You would be a fool to not be subscribed right now to see what happens next. This actually shows the death of capitalism all by itself. Look at this. I mean, death of capitalism confirmed by death of capitalism as well. Because I literally show a skull and people resonate with that, but they don't resonate with anything else at all. Why is that? Also death of capitalism because you're lonely, which is emergency status. And the fact that something else is going to come to replace literally death of capitalism is attempting to confirm that it's happening. Just by viewership, by people who clicked and survived the 30 seconds, because that's what it takes to confirm a view. Most people will run away from this because they think, the funny thing, they think the advice will come when it comes. This is the best advice you can get on the internet. Prove me wrong, my friends. Of self-improvement advice, prove me wrong. Because I'm compiling the best things ever, and I still have incredible amount of resources to draw from. This is a fucking game versus gods themselves right now. So it has been confirmed. All the signs are there. The death of capitalism is going on. The fourth sign is that this does not get views. And it makes no sense because self-improvement is something that everyone needs to do. They need to worry about that so much, and if someone else can actually punch some sense into them, it's like, yeah, great. But self-improvement is something, one of those things that capitalism kills the most. You don't understand how crazy that is. It kills. It replaces self-improvement with the idea that it's already available for you, and a person just has to tell you how to earn money, how to get a girlfriend and all that shit. And potentially these are useless things. That's not self-improvement. It's almost like a self-deprecation. But even then, the problem is most of the capitalism advice does not work. It's a scam. Or it's just a wrong idea, or it's just a flashy idea of someone showing you how to do something just so they can claim land on YouTube. What I've recently discovered by doing this video, Most Dangerous YouTube Channel, is that I am pissed at everyone who gives advice because they're not actually giving advice. They are just claiming land. They're claiming real estate of YouTube. They're claiming eyeballs and they're trying to sell you something. It is absolutely different than giving advice. It is trying to create a channel that keeps pumping videos out, keeps spamming on YouTube, so people watch these advice videos, so to speak. What happens when you stop masturbating, you know? You don't know. Magical things happen, buddy, when you stop. That's what I'm talking about, bro. This sort of shit is all over YouTube, is trying to sell some kind of channel or product or self-esteem, whatever the fucking person wants to sell to bolster themselves. It gets crazy so fucking damn fast because people are trying to throw advice everywhere just to claim land, just to claim that there's the specialist basically in a particular category. And you have to listen to them. Claim authority. We will have to fight that shit tooth and nail. And this is capitalism for you. The moment you have land It's the most valuable asset, and people naturally will start fighting for the land. So they are the authorities that people listen to, basically. They get subscribers for giving advice. And the best example of that is Andrew Tate. Where would you get advice from? That guy. Am I right? Am I right, guys? You don't want to end up as an insult. You want to rule the world. You want to break through the matrix. You want advice from that guy, from the tough man of the world. But you can't. You can't follow his advice because he's a mirage. He made sure to earn a lot of money because money gives power, and he knows that with power, with acquiring power, any amount of power, he can start bolstering his own persona and start to sell even more advice, so to speak. And this is the greatest scam of all time, is trying to buy yourself an image, an attractive image. What he forgot to buy is obviously an appealing personality. He's just a mafia person, basically. Person running mafia and knowing the biggest tricks you can possibly pull is the fact that women are attractive, so of course we're gonna try and use that to earn money. That was his initial big boost, and now he tried to sell his own persona to even accelerate the whole progress. He'd never fucking stop. That's the funny thing about the guy. If you can't stop earning money, if that's still like the highest priority thing for you, you're not actually going to improve yourself. There cannot just be one thing that saves the day. And then you still end up craving that one thing because now it sustains your entire fucking image. And it's questionable of like where that person is, but I almost like too scared to follow. Like you actually have to follow your gut instinct of like, he sounds like a reasonable person, but he is scary. He feels like a type of person that solves problems with force, which life does not like very much. So immediately after he forced himself into popularity, he got dismantled, cancelled, and tossed aside. Basically, in a part of public consciousness where people are starting to forget that this man even exists. Force will get you nowhere. You are just a hater in the end. You hate that you are unfortunate, so you push, again, your army, your best skills to take over land and use that land to promote yourself. And we found like the most optimized strategy for doing that. But still, as long as if you're not providing any value to society, it doesn't matter how much you push. Your land will be taken away from you. You can be the greatest nation of all time, which is Russia, That's Andrew Tate's strategy. Andrew Tate's strategy is being Russian. Straight up. He's rushing with the thing that works, expanding it as fast as possible. Because he describes the initial breakthrough, of just like really condensing thoughts into like, how do I make money? And the moment he makes money, obviously, you expand the operation as far and wide and as you can. But his operation happens to be a scam. So it's not that fucking deep. It's not that fucking deep to understand that what we witnessed is just an expansion of his operation. When he surfaced to the public consciousness, the dude was still doing the same scam. Just an evolved version of that. Everything was going according to plan. But he was not ready to face the public consciousness because slowly it would be ripped apart, the idea of what he's promoting. Being a tough man And being able to be popular is a very difficult task, by all means. And it's the thing that people crave for so much. They want to see a strong man because it's the easiest thing, right? Of like, you just win every single argument through force. It's not gonna happen, however. You end up just being a hater on the internet. And you cannot force me to change. You can only force me to feel bad. That's the Andrew Tate strategy. Force you to feel bad, force you to feel inadequate, force you to listen to advice now because now you feel bad. I cannot sell you my advice simply because you don't feel bad enough for not taking my advice. And I'm just trying to go all the way around right now and describe how capitalism killed my attempt to give other people advice. This would be so important for people, but they can't connect to this. Their brains are fried, their connections and relationships are fried. Everything has been replaced by greedy people who want all this land, who want the land of reputation. As long as they have reputation, as long as they have more subscribers, as long as they ratio someone like me, I can actually not give anyone advice. No one is going to listen to me. And advice is not something that's easy to sell to people in the first place. Like, there's so many problems that I have to overcome to actually get views on these videos. But the main problem is reputation. I have to give advice and I have to be successful at it, and people just don't have time to actually test any of these ideas until they become extremely coherent in a way of like, let's do science. You have to wake up at specific time or apply a specific feeling. And then when I really boil down my ideas to a pill format, where you just follow these 5 steps, then I can start actually competing against these fucking idiots who actually give you the advice already. Give craving people the drugs that they want. But the reality is, it takes time to actually manufacture proper advice. And that shit is not available right now. Like, you can send me any videos you want, and it's not even possible for me to do that. I can't even like counter every single video that exists. I can dominate. This is why not only I started Max Stats episodes, I started domination series as well. There's so much crap on the internet trying to claim land, trying to claim attention, cling on to attention, and they do much better job than I do because they're desperate. That's what you don't understand. That's how capitalism kills things, because capitalism is essentially desperate to kill things for profit, to take over land for profit, for attention. So that's what we have here. This is why I'm not getting views. And there's a big battle of platforms as well. YouTube is not exactly the most cleanest and accessible platform currently, and does not take advice seriously right now. It does not give space for advice to be tested, for videos to be tested in general. Every video should get 100 views if the channel is verified to be trying hard, you know? To be truly actually trying to provide something to society, every video should get 100 views, period. It should have a like minimum cap, because I am trying, other people might be trying to do something valuable. And if this is not valued in any way, I mean, I'm sorry, bro. You're just not testing it right now. Yeah, the moment people really dislike my advice, and it's not helpful for them, and I don't communicate with them directly, and don't address their issues, yeah, my channel can go under and no longer receive the 100 views qualification. But unfortunately, I have to suffocate right now. If I talk about drama, use someone else's face, yay. If I build a story of sentimental value, yay, success. But if I try to do anything close to give people advice, that's not going to be easy at all. That will be contested immediately. You must understand that the biggest culprit in the room is always going to be competition. There's going to be a more interesting person for people to turn their heads around and focus on. Of like, oh, but look, this guy has more muscle and I want to have more muscle and big car. And it's like, people are desperate to simplify life so fucking much. People are desperate to die, is what it is. Because the simplicity of life does not exist. But as I've told you guys, there are choices that you can make. As a 10-year-old, you have seen what life is like. And then you can be in a constant staircase mode. This lasts forever. This is called staircase to heaven. But my question to you, if this does not actually exist because heaven does not actually exist, then what does staircase represent? And staircase represents infinite pathway to nothing or towards something, conversion basically. Conversion from 0 to 0.5, 0.575, you're getting closer and closer to something, but you're never quite there. And it gets exponentially more difficult too. And only when you die, you have reached the heaven. Because you have been the closest you could ever be at living your parents' life. You're not even living your life. You literally build staircase into the parent's life. Here, when you mastered reality, when you reacted to reality accordingly, and understand what reality contains, now you can face parent's life again, straight on. You have the straight line forwards, and you'll be completely fine. With this strategy, again, you start building a staircase. You zoom in and start building a staircase from here. And it's infinite because it's exponentially more difficult to reach something that you don't want to break. You know? It's infinitely difficult to maintain something, to comprehend something, 100% complete something, right? It's like a never-ending speedrunning around of the ideas that you already adopted. But it's a very, very weak style of life. The next style of life is, again, self-mastery, basically, life mastery. The next style of life is life takeover, dominating life. And it's most important resources. So Andrew Tate happens to actually get through this, and he chose money as the most important resource, while MrBeast chooses viewership on YouTube or subscribers as the most important resource. And we find that money is greed, while subscriber count is just a number that we can afford to give to MrBeast. But even that is a little bit questionable, uncomfortable. While Andrew Tate got cancelled very quickly, because he's just a greedy bastard, MrBeast is very difficult to cancel. Because he will never go away, right? Like, if he has the most subscribers, there's nothing we can do. He's just gonna come back from the dead anyways. He cannot be cancelled, can we? He also has multiple channels and his reputation is well established. So it's a genuinely tough battle. And that's the difference between choosing money and choosing fame-ish. Funny enough, they're both sides of the coin. It's just you never look at the other side of the coin. You never look at the, the ugly side that does not show you the number. See, you want to feel someone's number. You never want to know that someone is rich because they will never reveal the true number of how rich they are. But the other side of the coin where the number is being shown, it's being shown to everyone else. There's two sides of the coin, my friends. There's the greedy side, and there's the number side. Sometimes this side actually like shows someone's face, they be greedy. They be trying to take over the coin itself. Well, this side just shows a number. That's it. And it seems innocent. Even the coin has its own history of like narcissism, basically, where two sides are completely polar opposite in terms of how it makes people feel. Like one side is more attractive than the other, I'll tell you that much. Only collectors and if you know, you know. The cats. Only the cats of the world care about this side. Because they catch rats. They catch people who are special. Let's put it that way. That's what being collected on the other side. Well, this side remains the same. Everyone sees the same thing, but they still care about this for some reason of like looking at it all the time. Of like, what coin do I have? Is it coin of 1 cent or 2 cents? You always double check. Why is it so important? Because we put importance onto this. We created a religion around money. It's inevitable. We put value towards something, and we don't put value towards the other side of the thing. It's almost not even possible to make the other side valuable at all. So we're unlocking thing after thing. We're just fucking smashing through walls right now. Forgetting that we're supposed to learn something. Like, we have to take advice. So yeah, staircase to heaven is something that happens to you when you decide to live an easy life at 18 years of age, perhaps, or 15 years of age. You decide of like how you're gonna use your innocence. Are you gonna sell yourself to slavery, to sexuality, whatever the fuck you want? If you're gonna be a basic bitch, basically, in life, that's gonna be your staircase to heaven. It's like, well, you died. It's over, dude. You died. Because you have chosen what your life is gonna be about. And most people think life is easy and they die. Immediately. The moment you concede on this, like, this is the life that I'm gonna live, is the moment you die. Because life can be anything, bro. It can be anything. Why are you going towards the light? What you expect to happen? You have to live life as best as you can, because life can be anything. You can be anything in life. And instead, people choose this. Most of the time, 90% of the time, people will choose this path. And as you can tell, hopefully, you can tell, we're just talking about the same fucking 4 paths that I started my episodes with in the first place. We haven't changed anything at all. I just tricked you very, very well by adding another system that says exactly the same thing of staircase to heaven is this path. The next path is the path of being a celebrity and growing your status and reputation and taking over land. These are the assholes of the world. What's that? Well, Andrew Tate is a successful asshole. It's a little bit different. He can't take any more land. He literally got cancelled. But he's that much more dangerous if he was cancelled. Because he will work his ass off to try and reverse the progress and stay relevant. Because it felt like something. He is gonna claim political status of some kind. He's on a different pathway. And again, these are pathways. These are lives that people have chosen. And obviously, at some point, I will have no more choices. I will have no forward momentum. That's the easiest choice. And it's like, why don't you want the God level path? Being a God, you don't want to do that? Pretty sad, I'm not gonna lie. Pretty sad. But that's what happens, you know? Most people take their own advice out of the urge to make life easy and simple. Why would you do that when you don't have to? When there's better things. But just people can't help themselves. They give up. They stop being the main characters. Because the moment you give up, someone is going to claim the things that you have, and the biggest thing that you can have is autonomy, is ability to control your destiny. These paths are way more potent and way more powerful, and they go way further, way faster. All right? You're going to be crawling like an ant when these guys are going to go zooming. So you're just going to be walking the staircase. But these guys are going to ride the horse. They're going to ride the animals of the world, basically. These guys will invent their own rockets, basically. Their own really fast vehicles. And these people who are godlike, they're obviously going to use the plane. These people will be in the heavens whenever they want to be in the heavens, in the skies. You know, and we see all of these manifestations, you just don't understand how powerful they are when you have your own private plane. You don't understand what it means, because you never fucking had it. And you may never be able to afford it. The only thing you will be able to afford is sometimes you will walk towards the plane station and you will take the plane that everyone takes. And it will not feel special, but you're just making one step forward again towards making it special by mastering the plane technology. Which, is just so funny to me. It's so funny how everything just like is manifested very, very carefully. Given to you, basically. By life. All of these paths are visible. People take these paths. You can see them do it. And you can see the different speeds as they live life with. Because Andrew Tate took force, he's having a very hard time punching through a wall right now. You know, and it's might as well, hey dude, how about you go to jail and try to punch through a wall? All right, we're gonna leave you now. All right, and they shut down the door, and it's like, okay, you like force, try to punch through a wall in jail. If you can do that, if you can successfully do that, you go to the next level. Well, Mr. Beast cannot go to next level either. Mr. Beast is also, even though he has this coin going on for him, which is wonderful news, but he already chosen a path. And to change your path and reset is the hardest thing of all time. So Mr. Beast right now stares at the edge of a cliff of like, I've been successful. I have to start from zero? What do you mean? I can always start a new channel. And it's like, no, your face is going to be attached to that. Out of fear, Mr. Beast might turn into the other side of the coin very quickly. Will lose his momentum, basically, and nobody will care anymore that he's the biggest. They will just accept the reality, which is zero political power in the end. So both of these guys are doomed to fail this path and just remain celebrities. Political path is incredibly complicated and always tries to deny you immediately the best it can. Because you have to always show progress. You always have to promise something that will change in the world. You always have to have things up your sleeves. Be ready and just be politically active in general. and influential in that sense without actually getting into controversies. And the moment controversy happens and people don't trust you anymore, this path shuts down and becomes unavailable. I've already passed through the gate here, and I have tried this pathway, and I've learned many things. I'm trying to open this gate, which is one of the fucking craziest gates to open. The godlike path is absolute insanity, bro. And while people don't want to acknowledge and support that, and they don't care that much, I mean, you kind of need to be aware of what I'm doing. Alright? So, political path wants to destroy you, basically. But there is something even more scary than that. The social path. The idea that everyone will see what you're doing, everyone will care about you, you are the billionaire of the world. You're a person that has anything they want immediately because you have access to the greatest resource, which is not money, by the way. It is money that cannot be taken away from you anymore. That's the resource. If you just had money, that can be taken away, but you have security. You have secured yourself a bank. You know how to manage your finances. You have a business where you extract money. None of these things can take away the most important resource that people live by. Unfortunately, it will change and out of money into something else, which is tech, and billionaires are trying to take over AI basically as quickly as possible to make sure they stay afloat. I don't think it's gonna work, because the game has to significantly change, and someone has to genuinely just give up on this path. The path of gods is like any single change happening here will ruin your entire fucking game, and you will have to start from scratch at the same time. Like, money not being like the most valuable asset. But you can see, you know, like, Elon Musk is implementing AI into his robots. Zuckerberg is ramping up security, I guess. I don't know. He cares about AI a lot. And Google, the overlords of the world, basically. They're preparing to switch tactics and adopt AI technology. The only question is, like, do they even understand what's the point of doing that? Because the point is not to make more money anymore. No fucking way is that the point. The point is to hold power. Funny enough. To hold as much power, because people will also want power as well, and they will do very crazy things. And now you have to, like, learn moderation and all that shit. So, the path of gods, my friends, is something I'm trying to unlock right now. And figure out, what the fuck is that? One of the easiest advice I can give you of how to improve your path is know that, again, life lasts a very long time and you will have to improve yourself significantly. Aim for something greater every single time. Your path will improve. Basically, pay attention. Expand your awareness over the people around you. And there's different types of people. So the people in the close vicinity are the people who care about money. They want to go to a workplace, extract money from their overlords, pay rent successfully make children, basically, or just live a satisfying, happy life, and, you know, survive all the hardships of life, all the wars, everything. This is the basic people that you're surrounded by. And if you take your own advice, you're just going to be looking around, and that's all you're going to get. The second tier people, they're celebrities. You can still find them fairly commonly, and they can still appear in your vicinity. Where you live, celebrities can create a party, basically. Once a year now, you can find celebrities within your own area. But when it comes to politics, you can only find them once a decade in your area. You can unlock them once a decade. You are not gonna stand next to a president by any means. Just like you're not gonna find the most powerful celebrity. But they're gonna be around. They're gonna be close. And the closest politician, like you, now you have to actually position yourself next to the capital of your country in order to actually bump into a politician. Now you have to actually move. And to find a billionaire, you have to travel the world to find a billionaire, which is a whole fucking new level. All right? The funny thing is we have the internet, and I sort of hanging on to the internet, but maybe it's gonna like black out and shut down and it's not gonna be available anymore because everything can be fake all of a sudden. And after AI establishes, internet might not provide us good insight of what billionaire even looks like anymore. But striving for that awareness is the most important thing because that's the thing that will grow you to the point of like, oh, I'm bored of this thing. Let's move on to this thing. You're basically reading more and more complicated media. Yeah, a straight path. But it's not your path, it's your parents' path. The funny thing is, you know, fucking big old dick path. Two people make one big arrow forwards. Because parents can give you something, but you might not be able to take it. You will try and grasp it with your hands, and the balloon keeps floating away, and it's like, I failed it this time. But next time I can hold on to that balloon. When you improve yourself significantly, you can use it to rise to the very top of popularity, of like, look, I live my life so successfully, and everyone's gonna be like, yeah, except your life is your parents' life, and that's not very interesting, not very influential. When we're talking about politics, is we're talking about the real influence of the world. There's a reason why influence is calculated with dollars, with dollar sign, but it's not about money. It's about time. Time is money. How much time you spend with someone is the amount of brain rot you're gonna get from them. I have to put it in those terms because you can get good things or you can just get brain rot. It depends of who you spend time with. And politicians know how to make you spend time with them because they make you fear of like, if you don't listen to them, you'll miss out on what's going on in the world. So it's not just politicians. It takes a fucking decade to randomly be approached by a person holding a microphone asking you, what do you think about this and that? It takes a decade for that to happen. Not just politicians, but media interacting with you as a simple bystander and asking for your opinion. A fucking decade. Or you have to be around all the time. It depends. You can always shrink that number significantly. Or become part of the media club. Whatever. But then you become like this kind of paparazzi person. Very nasty. So yeah, this, as we unearthed this, it is literally the most solid idea of this series. And it's just super solidifying itself. Extreme. And all you have to do to switch your paths is continue growing awareness and not settling with anything. It's worthless trying to settle. The moment you get bored, the moment you get rejected, the moment people don't like you, you go level up. That's the funny thing. You try to go this way, and people just start hating you, and it's like, okay, I will level up, I'll become God. You don't like me going this way? I'll be God now. And you will have no choice but to let me pass. There's no, you can't hate me. It's impossible. Now, that's the biggest question of like, is people's hatred justified? No. They should let you pass. Like, kindness is the most destructive force of all time. People being kind to you and giving you things will reduce the friction that you have versus life itself. Versus, like, you're fighting life all the time. If people giving you gifts and people being nice to you will reduce the friction, so you don't feel anything. You don't feel any threats. You don't feel there are any problems in life. Life is easy, but you don't have a good life. That's the fucking problem. Without friction, you don't get far at all. So people giving you friction is the most valuable resource of all time. And here, people cannot give friction because they know there's nowhere else for you to go. People will have to flock and give you scraps of like, I can't give you friction, but here's 2 cents, you know? And it's like, are they being kind or are they just wasting your time? It is going to be an annoying process, but now it's just pure love and there's nothing else to it. You know, there's no friction available. I'm really hoping that there's not a fucking magical wall here. What am I supposed to do? Like, usually the motion was that I always just turn around and try to find a different path. But this time it's actually impossible, and it's also impossible to impose the wall in the first place because how many people are there to actually even resist my existence? To deny my existence is like, what? What's going on? The moment I can hold a godlike capacity of like, I am Jesus, for example, you know? The moment I can hold that in reality, the big Jesus ball, you know, of like, I own the Jesus ball. You don't have it. You can't have it. Is the moment people gonna be really upset, but they can't do shit. They can't hate me away anymore. This is also a wall. So if they build a wall, they just create a pressure system or something will fucking explode. I might even skip a step if they try to do that and become like super gods very quickly. If they try to be like attempting to block me from something, attempting to deny something, a step. Maybe you just skip that. I don't know. I don't know what happens, but we literally see such a clear view of everything, and maybe it's only possible because I know all these paths in life. I really hate that I can't talk about what I want to talk about, because we're not even making progress, guys. We're being mesmerized by this. Again. It's the coolest thing, though. I can't stop myself. The thing I wanted to talk about is the light switch mastery. We have to bring back that. Because as you can tell, this is the light and this is the darkness. Right here. This is the light switch. Alternating light switch. And I have a little bit more insights of how to improve that. Unfortunately, in people's lives, unwillingness is gonna happen, and we have unlocked as well this word. This is a very powerful word. This is the most powerful hidden enemy there is. Unwillingness to do something. This is the only time you will unlock the max stats in the first place, is when you're gonna be willing to change yourself. And anything is possible. People have been through crazy journeys of self-evolution. we have seen crazy things across the internet of people finding willingness to do things. Even willingness to have a YouTube channel is crazy big deal. Willingness to start a journey of some kind, start a change in your life, or fix your past mistakes. Willingness is crazy, while unwillingness is a crazy enemy. When I say to myself, max stats, I feel good. I feel like I have motivation now to fight for something. I'm fighting for the max stats. That's my new religion, my new politics. But what I have to recognize, there is an end to the story. And if you complete religion 100%, what happens then? I ask you a question. What happens when you complete religion 100%? You become God. Now you have the best advice, you have the best stories, and you did it yourself. You lived that life. After I got myself out of the toilet, I realized something. I can't ban anyone. I can only prove to them that they cannot defeat me, no matter what they do. You know? So crazy to me. Now, they can flood, they can attack, and it will deal damage. But not really to me. When I'm ready to become God, I will unban everyone. At least from the YouTube comments. It does create a dynamic where people are going to be attacked by demons under my channel. You will not be safe anymore. That's what I'm concerned about the most. I'm not concerned about myself being constantly harassed. I think I can clean the world, but the actual reality is that the world has to accept its own existence, you know, and be aware of itself. And I am not a player in that game, unless I want to do politics. Politics is all about banning people and putting people into jail. And the reality is that opinions cannot hurt me. You know, insults cannot hurt me. It's not going to change anything. I can live my life with or without them. And feed the demon, basically. Because the demon feeds the system. As long as that's how the system works, that's great. I'm incentivized to feed the demons. It's the easiest thing to do. Demons react to the most minuscule things, while real people don't. Real people don't find things interesting most of the time. They run around. Demons tend to stay. Be your most violent and most disgusting guests, but they are guests after all. And if you want to become God, you have to actually allow the nasty part of the world to just manifest. To be Jesus, that one thing you have to learn is to allow people to slap you in the face. Because fuck it, you know? It's for content, you know? That's what it is. That's what Jesus would say. Get slapped, it's for content. Jesus today would say, turn the other cheek for content. And I think that's a very beautiful thing. Absolutely. Give demons the power to just dominate your comment section, and no one is safe. And it's like you can cry to me all you want. Ban this person, do that, do this. They ban themselves, they run out of breath eventually. You know, or they establish themselves as like the kings below me. And it's like, wow, it's a tough battle with these kings. They will always show up because they know they cannot be possibly banned. They have the power of just reoccurrence. And just stealing all my comments every fucking time. And I have to ask them to stop. Stop stealing comments, you bitch. Punch them in the face. Bro, every time. It's crazy. YouTube, however, filters like the most filthiest comments, so I have that going for me. But I literally have to, like, you just keep getting insights. As long as you keep expanding awareness, you might end up doing this, where I try to talk about something and it didn't even work. I'll leave you guys with this. You have to study yourself very carefully. When you have a certain amount of energy, you still have to check your willingness to do things. Your willingness to do things will change because you will feel punished for not doing enough work. But you still need to reset yourself. You still need to sleep. No matter what's up. You still need to sleep. Still need to reset to be able to regain your willingness. Willingness is not something that you can just have. The willingness depends on the amount of energy you have. Obviously, if you're tired or something is wrong, like you can be sick, you can have too much of something. Something is not quite right. In these situations, it's not enough to just willpower yourself through. You need to rest. You need to just let go. Learning that is hard enough. It's not giving up. Let go is just waiting for the other opportunity to shine, and then you take it then. You know? Is actually being patient. A whole nother level. Patience beats willingness, my friends. Oh, anyways, thank you so much. Going through this journey. How did you do that? How did you do that? Because for me, this was brain vomit. I am not surviving this. This is crazy. What just happened?